We're going to step through the deposit process. I'm looking at a collaboration customer, and I was going to create an opportunity. So the new feature when we're creating an opportunity, and we can link this to the customer and just make it default, but essentially what we're doing is we've added some new fields to the sales tab, which lets us really say, we're going to collect a deposit, and we can lock this down and make it a default value. But that's essentially what drives the behavior. Let me save this guy. And we've got a dollar amount we can collect a deposit on. So since we have a deposit set up for 100%, when we click this new button, create customer deposit invoice, it's going to go off and create a deposit invoice. And go back to the sales tab, we can see that it generated this invoice for $2,000, and we can see that there are outstanding deposits. So let's take a look at this invoice, because this is actually now what fixes the big problem we've had to date, which is we send off an estimate to somebody and it's really not in the customer ledger. And so now we've got an actual open invoice for $2,000. This is the big solve really that this deposit was fixing. So let's take a look at the actual body of this. Notice we preserve the details that were in the body, even though we blank out the dollar amounts. It's really for reference purposes to say, this is what this was for. This is the actual transaction that has a dollar value, and what it's doing, you can see what it's doing, right? It's putting this credit on the balance sheet. So from an accounting perspective, we're still good as well, right? We're not creating revenue or anything like that. We're just getting a number into their subledger. Still have this opportunity out there. We haven't even gone to contract. We haven't generated the sales orders and produced purchase orders yet. We've now produced this invoice to the customer for the deposit, and they can pay it. So let's go ahead and accept payment on that. And we will imagine we got a check. And I'll click save. Now what this is doing is it's clearing that receivable. What this is also doing in the background is it's creating an open customer deposit. Now at the same time, we have created this customer deposit, which is a standard NetSuite customer deposit transaction. And it's even linked back to that sales order so that when everything gets processed, we don't have to do any more work. I'll show you what I mean. In the background, we created this customer deposit, which puts the deposit into the customer ledger again as an open deposit. So if we look at this customer and look at their finance tab, we can see that it has a deposit balance now of $2,000. And that's because we created that deposit from the payment. And that deposit was linked to the sales order. Let me show you what that means. It means that when we process this opportunity, we don't have to worry about cash receipts and applying the money anymore, because that'll all be done automatically. Let me show you what I mean. Let's create the sales order from the opportunity. When I click approve now, when we fulfill this and bill it, we don't have to apply the cash receipts anymore. So let's go back to the sales order and now bill it. So we just fulfilled everything and now we'll bill it. So we'll bill that full 2,000. And because that deposit is already linked, check this out. We save it. We linked it to that sales order, and therefore NetSuite automatically will apply it. And therefore there's nothing more to do here. We've actually already applied the deposit to this invoice in full, and therefore it's done.